So it is a little later than normal, but I've been working all day, and this is the first nice day we've had in a while. We've had some wet weather come through, and I haven't really gotten a chance to get out on the bike. So figured I'd get out for the next at least couple hours, at least while I still have some daylight left. Get out on the bike. We got a question not too long ago, and thanks to everyone that's been leaving comments and subscribing. It's definitely helped the channel out a little bit. I know we're growing, and it's been a lot of fun interacting with you guys and having these conversations with you. I think I'm gonna set a goal of trying to grow the channel to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. I think it's a doable goal, so I think that's what we're gonna do. So if you could, if you haven't already, please subscribe. It definitely helps me out. So a guy left a comment asking how I would compare the Pan America to other ADV bikes. And it kind of got me thinking, like, I've ridden a lot of different bikes, a lot of different ADV bikes, and just other bikes in general. The people I ride with, like, we all ride different bikes. None of us are riding the same bike. It's not cringy, matchy type of thing. Like, we all ride our own stuff. We all have our own style. And there's a lot of different bikes in our group. Like, we have Husqvarnas, we have Baggers, we have KTMs, and I think there's a Beamer in there somewhere, and Kawasaki's. And you ride with people that have different bikes. If you trust them enough, let's swap bikes. You gotta ride a bunch of different bikes that way. Like, I haven't really been able to put like significant miles on their bikes. So other than like an initial impression that the bike leaves you, really can't say like long term. I haven't put these miles on the bikes, like really get into what these bikes are all about. And just initial impressions is really all I get. And I'll try to get out to a bunch of different kind of demo days where, the big brands bring out their demo trucks and you can ride the bikes to a certain extent. A lot of times they have a certain route that you can go on, so you really can't go take it out in the sticks or go take it out and get dirty or whatever if it's that kind of bike. But I'll ride lots of different bikes, even if I'm not even remotely interested in buying one, but I'll ride them to see what they're like. So as far as some of the other ADV bikes that are out there, like the BMW, the GS, I've ridden those things a bunch, to the 1250s and the 1300s. I've ridden them a couple times, and there's a local dealership that we have here that allows people to test ride the bikes, and I think they have their own, like, a couple bikes that are demos, so you can really get a feel for what the bike's about. And I like the GS. For the long time, the GS was it was a dream bike of mine. I really love that idea of the whole adventure riding and things like that. That fell in line with some of the stuff that I really like to do, and the GS just kind of fit because it was, well, if you wanted to do that kind of stuff, that was the bike you get. So I always had this image of like a blacked out GS with all the big bags and everything on it, and it was just cool, and I really liked that idea. But by the time that I got onto a bike, and especially about the time that I was looking for a bike, the GS was still kind of out of reach for me because they are expensive. Like, they're Beamers. They're expensive. So it was just kind of out of reach, especially for a first bike when I started shopping for a bike. So I got onto my Sportster and, learned how to ride on that thing. And I love the Sportsters. The Sportsters are awesome. And they're a ton of fun. They're a ton of fun to just like make up your own. And anyways, but when it was time to look for a bigger bike, I did revisit the GS a lot, actually, but it was still, it just seemed a little bit too far out of reach. So I started looking at like stuff like the Lowrider S, and it didn't really fit me off the showroom floor. The foot pegs are, well, high. They're, for me, like I said, I'm like 6'3", and so I felt like my knees were just in my chest on that bike. I don't know why they have them like that. And then I started looking at like the Fat Bob, and I really liked the Fat Bob. I thought it was cool and aggressive, and it kind of had that off-road look to it, which I dug it a lot. But a little while later, Harley released the Pan America. And so it was kind of the best of both worlds. It was like, oh, that adventure bike, or, you know, that go anywhere type of bike. But it was still a Harley. And it still kind of looked like a Harley without looking like a Harley. And I really kind of liked it. Now, I did not like it very much when I first saw it online. Because for some reason, I don't know how this happens, but when you see a bike online and you just see the pictures of it and all the media pictures, and it just doesn't look right. Like, I don't know. But then I saw it in person, and I was like, okay, that's sick. And not too long after I saw one for the first time, I was able to get on one. Traded my Sportster in, got a pretty good deal on the Sportster trade-in, and yeah, I was able to make it happen. But going back to comparing it to other bikes, and not really being able to say how it does, like, between other ADV bikes. So what I always came away with after I got off these demo rides and test rides and things like that was I was happy to be back on my bike. And that could be because, you know, it's my bike. You know, this is, you know, I've put the work into this thing, you know, I paid the money for this thing, and so I love my bike, I really do. And it just felt like home. And the other ones were cool, but they didn't feel like my bike. In that sense, I don't think any other bike that I've ridden can even come close to my bike. And that's just my opinion. That's just like my view on it of, you know, like, I'm happy that I like my bike. I've never had that feeling of I'm happy with what I got, really, which that sounds horrible. You know, you go on a test ride with a new car, and, you know, like, oh, I really want it, but and then you get back in your old car, you're just like, oh, it's that thing. After these test rides, I'd get back on my bike, and I just feel super just happy to be back on my bike. And I don't know, maybe that's because I have an emotional attachment to my things, especially things that can take me places, like my bicycles and my motorcycles. Like, they're all kind of the same. Like, I have that connection with them. We've gone places together. We've seen things. In my opinion, there's really no other bike out there that even comes close to it. Like, the fun level is just awesome. And you can go through all the numbers and compare numbers, and you can get a sense of performance that way. Like, I'm not going to go over all that because it's boring. Like, the numbers are out there. You guys can kind of look that up yourselves. Being happy, being on my bike is, I think, what matters. Am I saying it's the absolute best bike out there? Well, in my opinion, yes. But I'm biased as hell, so, you know, take that for what it's worth. But I'm sure there's a faster, better, lighter bikes out there, and that's all right. You know, ride what you want. As long as it gives you that feeling of when you get off the bike and when you're going into, like, I don't know, go get gas or go get something to eat. That feeling, that bike that makes you turn around and look at your bike and just be like, ah, that's my bike. I think that's what's important. So getting back to the question of how I'd compare it, it's like, to me, no other bikes compare to this bike. I just wanted to get out for today. I got a couple of hours of sunlight left, and it's finally dry. Oh my God, it's finally dry. I can actually go on a ride and not get wet and soaked and cold. It's been cold lately too. We started to warm up and then it got cold. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for today. If you guys have ridden any other bikes, how do you compare it to the Pan America? I'm curious now, because I don't know. I guess I got my biased opinion, so I can't tell you. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below, and if you could, really subscribe. Help me get to that 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be super awesome. All right, guys. Let's talk to you later. None of us, yeah, you know, like the people that let's wait till I slow down a bit, because it's windy right now, and I know it's gonna be windy because I'm going over 60. God, I've seen that guy riding everywhere. I should go ride with that dude. He rides just as much as I do. Is that a Chrome? Nope, that's a Supermoto. Sick. Almost there. Almost to the end of the fastness. I know you guys have probably seen this road 100 times on this channel, but I like this road. It's my after work ride. I'm just trying not to ride into the sun. Because now I'm mindful of that. What are you doing, Toaster? Ew.